day everyone, I am Paul Daniel Lanes and I'm going to demonstrate to you the different ways to fix the problem of no operating system found in Windows. Now, depending on the make or model of our laptop, this error message could be a bit different for most of the laptops. It would say no operating system found. For some, it would say no bootable device found or no boot device found, and yet for others like this, Lenovo, you just find a boot menu screen like this with different boot devices, and no matter what device you choose, it won't boot into Windows. Now, there are several possible reasons why you may be having this problem, ranging from hardware to software related issues. But before we get into the possible solutions to this problem, I will advise that you follow these suggestions in order to avoid any further complications to your computer. The first possible cause of this problem and the first thing we should check out for is a loose connection between your hard disk and the motherboard. This is completely physical and could happen due to some vibrations or shock. Needless to say that no matter what software solutions you try to implement, if this is the issue and is not resolved, then nothing would work. And that is why we started with this suggestion. Now, we will need to figure out where our hard disk is located. For most laptops, it is readily accessible from the back, cover underneath. Others are more difficult to access, especially if they are underneath the keyboard. I will add here that if you had this case that difficult to access, then maybe you can try out the other suggestion first before taking the extracting to locate your hard disk. So here, all I need to do is to reattach my hard disk more firmly to the connector, couple back to the laptop, and try to put it back up again. Now, if that doesn't resolve the problem, then the next thing we want to check is our boot priority order. Normally, we should have our hard disk at the top of the priority order, so our BIOS doesn't try to put in the sub other devices or disks where they and operating systems to check the boot priority order. Firstly, turn off our laptop, then check from some other device, maybe our mobile device or some other laptop, for the keyboard combination or the key that is required to get into our BIOS. That could be F2 or F12 or combination of escape and some other function key. So here, I assume you know the key you need to put into your BIOS. Now, power on your laptop and immediately keep pressing the key until you see your BIOS page pop up. It should look something like this or maybe more different interface. Now, from the BIOS, try to find a way that says boot or boot order or boot priority, something in that line. Now, some BIOS would have it under the advanced settings or system configurations. Just check around and see where yours is located. For this laptop, it's right from the top menu here, so I will navigate to it. Here, I have my boot devices, and as you can see, any USB devices attached to this laptop would try to boot off first before my hard disk. That needs to change, except I'm trying to run some installation from a USB, but that's not the case. Here, to change this order, the BIOS gives a clue here that F5 and F6. F6 takes device up while F5 brings them down to the arrow key. I will move to my hard drive which says HDD/SSD, then use the F6 key to take it to the top of the boot order. After that, hit F10 to save changes and then select yes to complete the process. Now, if this is the problem in your case, then upon restarting, it should boot you back into Windows. If that still doesn't resolve the issue, then we can move to the next suggestion for this to fix. I'll be toggling between the UEFI and for the legacy or CSM boot mode from the BIOS. So if you have the boot mode set to the format that is not supported by a hard disk, then it won't boot up, even though you have a functional Windows operating system on it. Now, for most people, you not know for sure which format your hard disk is configured. So the logical fix would be to change your current boot mode to the other mode and try to see if that resolves the issue. To change your boot mode, you will need to get back into your BIOS. Now again, this might be placed under some other menu, so we will need to check out and see where yours is located for. This Lenovo is under the Startup tab. Here, you will see where it says UEFI/Legacy Boot. Here, as you can see, mine is set to Legacy only, so I will use that and again use the arrow key to select my preferred mode. Now, as you see here, some laptops will give you the option of selecting both boot modes. So, if you are not sure of your disk format, then this is the option to choose. But, if you don't have the both option like the case with this Toshiba, then just select another boot mode other than your initial boot mode. Now, remember to save changes using F10 and then try to boot up again and see if that resolves the issue. If not, then the last suggestion for this video will require that you have a bootable USB with Windows installation file stored in it. So attach your bootable USB with Windows and boot into it. Wait for the installation files to load on this window, hit next, then on the next page that follows, select repair your computer. Here, select troubleshoot and then command prompt. A terminal like this should pop up here. Type in the command diskpad as shown on the screen and hit enter. Next, type list volume and hit enter. Now that should show the different volumes you have currently attached to your laptop. Normally, the volume with your window should have the letter C, which is volume 1 in my case. Another way to verify the volume with your Windows is to check the sizes of the different volumes. Normally, it should be the largest volume except you have configured it otherwise. Volume 1 is the volume with my Windows. It's about 60 GB. Here, I'm working on a virtual machine on normal Windows PC. This should be the close to the size of your hard disk, except if you've done some disk partitioning, then the volume with your Windows will be the size of the partition where you choose to install your Windows. So now that I'm sure that the volume 1 is the volume with my Windows, so I'll go ahead and type select volume 1 and hit enter. Next, type the command active as shown on the screen and hit enter. Then type in assign and hit enter. Next, type then the exit and hit enter to close this pad. Then finally, type exit again to close the command line. And it should bring you back to this page. From here, you can turn off your PC, remove the bootable USB, and try to boot into Windows again. So that concludes my demonstration on how to fix the operating system not found in Windows. Thank you.